Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to the newest episode of Last Call Life Experiences of a Crow. I am Frater Crow, and it's a pleasure to have you listening in this evening. Whether you're listening live, streaming after the fact, or you've downloaded us to your device for on the go, I'd like to thank you for your patronage and support. Make sure you click the like, share, follow, and subscribe buttons on whatever platform you're tuning in from. Helps move us up the podcast community rankings, allows more people to discover the show, keeps you in the loop with new episodes as they air, and it gives you unfiltered access to our past archives, whether that be Uncovering the Underground, Knights of the Nephilim, Pair of Normal Guys podcast, Last Caw, my normal unboxing videos, though tonight's a little special, and much, much more. So make sure you follow, wherever you're comfortable, but make sure you also give a subscribe to the YouTube page under Frater Crow and Knights of the Nephilim. There is 250 plus videos on that platform that you can enjoy a lot of underground entertainment, a lot of updates, a lot of just great content. So thank you for those that are listening in this evening. I thought I would try something different, and if it goes well, great. If it doesn't, then maybe we'll remove it and try it how I normally would. But I want to do an unboxing video, and normally I do the unboxing videos recorded and release after the fact. Tonight I thought about doing one live. Yeah, Phoenix, yes, you are, brother. You were the first one to the party tonight. I love it. So tonight I want to do an unboxing live. Now, like I said, if it doesn't go well, then I will delete the video this episode and we'll just do a regular unboxing video. And the reason why is for the author who sent me this package, I want to make sure I do justice for it because I am very, very excited for what I'm about to open. I haven't seen it yet. I have been anticipating it, and it was a wonderful gift to receive. And we'll be deep diving a little bit into that. And that gentleman that I'm speaking of is Frater Barrabbas. Frater Barrabbas is an amazing occultist, amazing writer, has been practicing for multiple decades, and has released a slew of amazing books. And I've had him on my show Knights of the Nephilim 2 different times as a special guest. He recently sent me Liber Nephilim, which was his new book, and we did an unboxing video on that, talked briefly about it. I have read through it once. I am on my second read through of it, and then I will do a review of the book and let you guys know what I thought of the read of the book. Eventually, I will be diving deeply into the practices of the grimoire and eventually doing a video on what experiences I've had through that specific system of magic as I'm able to integrate that into my practices. So, a couple more videos will be coming just for Liber Nephilim, like I said. So that's very exciting, but Frater Barrabbas has been able to get with a new publisher the last couple years and release new books and re-release old books of his from previous publishers, but give them a facelift where he's added to them. He's changed things in them. He's given them new art and new covers and, really just made it a great product. And that's what we're talking about this evening. Both books that I received today are books that have been released in the past, but have been given a facelift, and they are even better than they were before, which were already great books. Phoenix said, I got that Liber Nephilim book. It's really good. It really is. There's some points that Barrabbas touches on in that book that I think are very important. I haven't heard anybody else specifically talk about, and I think it's great that the occult community read that, ponder on it, and see how it resonates with them, because it certainly resonated with me. When it talks about, Nehemiah, and it talks about the other women that the Grigori had, had babies with and procreated with, how he describes those women, who they are, how they played a role in all of it is very, very essential. I've already was along the same lines of thought as he is, and I love that because it's not something commonly talked about. And the fact that he was able to put this out in a book is very good. So, if you haven't checked out Liber Nephilim yet, folks, make sure to go check that out. It's a great book, great grimoire. It gives you a lot of background information, a lot of theory and history, and it gives a lot of practicality to it of how you can practice with those spirits, and either a way using angels or in a left-handed path style of using Samael, or not, I don't want to say using, but working with Samael specifically to work with the Nephilim, or working with the angels to work with the Nephilim. So you can pick your side, but it's a great book. Now, tonight we're going to be looking at 2 more, like I said. So we'll give it a few more minutes for some people to jump in, and we'll go ahead and get started on that. Now, I did say I wanted to talk about some updates and some news, so I'll jump into some of those topics first, and then we'll go ahead and get into the unboxing. For anybody who missed the Devil's Night Ritual, the Coterie of Samil, who is my cult, that I help run or co-run with Natasha Michelle of Little Shop of Lilith. She's been a guest on the show before, also the creative director at Celestial Oddities Radio. We held the first ever public rite, not where people were coming to do the ritual with us, but where people could participate and buy onto the ritual for a prosperous 2025 witches year. And we had over 32 people participated in that ritual. It was very powerful. It lasted 5 hours, and there was hundreds of dollars in offerings given, several bottles of liquor, roasts, foods, desserts, sweets, tobacco, you name it, we gave it in this ritual to the old gods, to the Nakash Elakar, and to the Clephotic Elohim. And very powerful. It was, I mean, I can't say enough about how powerful this rite was. And we had several people reach out to us about how impactful it's already been within 1 month's time, not even, a little less than a month, how many things all of a sudden just happened in their life. And that was to be expected and to continue to be expected throughout the next year. So thank you to those people that bought on. We did read each and every name in a full petition, which the petition was a big page. So reading it and then doing it again and again 32 times. The following night, we did it again 32 times. And on the 30th of this month, exactly 1 month after the start of it, I will read it for the third and final time to lead us throughout the rest of the year. This is correlative on Natasha and I doing 216 ends, mantras, every single day all year long. And it rests on our back by doing that, to keep that chain and that mandala going, that circle just going, and keeping it resonant with the working, with the people who participated in. We made our own blood pact on that. So a little bit about what that was, how that worked, what to expect from that. We will be doing that again annually each year on Devil's Night. So for anybody who missed that, several people reached out and said, oh shit, I forgot, or I wasn't a part of it, I didn't see it. 2025, October 30th, Devil's Night, we will do another petition, another very large ritual. There will be other opportunities throughout the year to join us in person for public rituals. There will be private cult rituals. There will be lectures, sermons, events, all kinds of different things taking place. With that being said, I would like to jump into the fact that we are doing presents from pagans. That is a toy drive where we are gathering toys to deliver to a organization who will give them to the needy during Christmas, to help out families, to help out children. And the premise of this is a great deed done with nothing expected out of it, simply to help people with our influence, with our organization, but it is coming from a pagan organization. So presents from pagans. So far, we have quite a little chunk of toys gathered. We look to quadruple what we have. We have a little less than a month to do that. We expect to fill up probably 2 vehicles full and deliver that to an organization. We will be filming that. We will do a raffle. Every person who's donated gets their name entered into a drawing to win $50. It's just a bonus for helping. It's a good deed, but why not also win some money? So if you are wanting to participate, we've had people in other countries send money because they can't send a present. They've just donated to it. We would appreciate that. Anybody local that wants to drop off gifts, you can do that at Little Shop of Lilith in Butler, Pennsylvania. We would appreciate it. Other than that, on the winter solstice, we do have, the deadline for the toy drop-off is December 18th. On the winter solstice, December 21st, We will be dropping those presents off. Later that evening, we will be holding a public ritual at Little Shop of Lilith and Butler. We expect a good turnout on that, where we will be doing the Belial Winter Solstice Rite, which will be very, very powerful. If you're looking for more information on that, you can check out the events page at Little Shop of Lilith on the Coterie of Samil page, and read about that. And, like I said, we're more than happy to have you, but you have to register. You can't just show up that day. You can't be under 18. It is an adult ritual, and you have to register. So check those things out. A lot of exciting news taking place, a lot of things happening. And I suppose we should go ahead and jump into the unboxing here in a second. Hello, Tara. Much love to you. Thank you for tuning in. So we are, like I said, going to be unboxing a new set of books tonight. So let me grab them. As you can see, got the box right here. I will keep it down and inconspicuous so no addresses are seen. Let me take a drink of my beer first. All right. I just want to check one thing before I open this up. I want to make sure. Okay, looks like it is posting everywhere it's supposed to online. The only reason I wanted to make sure that I was having a little bit of technical difficulties earlier, and I didn't want to be doing this and only like one or two people seeing it, so it does look like it's out there. So we're going to go ahead and cut open this box, as you see here. I'm going to flip it upside down so once again no one can see the address. And we're going to go ahead and... bear with me, I'm trying to get it open. All right, got one side open. Got another side open. So as you folks can see, we got a box. Several pieces of heavy-duty brown construction paper. 3, 4, 5, 6. Barrabbas did not play games. He made sure this was padded. I see bubble wrap. Okay, I'm glad he had this one first. So first up on the list this evening, folks, is this beautiful book. See if I can get it in the screen. This beautiful book here, Disciples Guide to Ritual Magic. A beginner's introduction to the high art. As you can see, it's of nice size, beautiful gloss cover, awesome artwork on the front of it. This was his first book he released many, many years ago under a different publisher, like I said, and has since, through Crossed Crow, been able to republish it and give it a little facelift. Now, this book weighs in at 300 pages. Now, that in itself is a nice sized book of occult knowledge, and if you look through it, it's not filler, it's not blank pages and a ton of art. It is 300 solid pages of just chalked information. So I'll just kind of flip through it here. It's kind of hard to do with the way my setup is. But you guys can see anywhere I stop, there is a lot of information. I mean, every page is solid. So let's look through it a little bit. And I know you can't see as good as you'd probably like to. Hey, Calvin, how you doing, brother? Good evening to you, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. So let's look through it a little bit and see what we got going on here. And just read some of the categories of, what we're seeing in the book. The process of transcendence as self-transformation. Spells, rituals, and ceremonies. Ritual structures and techniques. The magic circle. The 4 magical tools. The link, empowering the intention. objectification, exteriorization. The 5 modes of knowledge from lowest to highest. The offerings of neo-sorcery, ritual magic for the new age. And then that's all parts of part 1. Part 2 is itself the grimoire. So it's just chocked with information on magic itself. And there's a lot of things that the new age new age practitioners just don't understand. They might understand that you have an athame and a wand and a pentacle and a chalice as far as just needing those items, but they have no idea what it stands for on a material basis, on a psychological basis, on a philosophical basis, on a spiritual basis. There are multiple layers to why you have these objects on your altar. There are multiple ways of how they should be used and why they're there, how to empower them, and he will go into that. He will go into why you use a magic circle and what it's truly for and the different modes of doing so, how to open up astral gates and step through them. And this is from someone who is very respected, though you may not know of him. There's a lot of people in the modern day who don't know who Barrabbas is. And that's a shame because he should be top of your list. There's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of filler. There's a lot of bullshit out there, folks. This guy is none of those things. He is the real deal. He's been doing this for 50 years and highly respected and a wonderful, prolific author. So let's look into the grimoire portion of it now. Techniques of mental discipline. How to, contain breath control or just breath control. But he talks about the different methods of how to excel in breath control. Like there's probably 6 different techniques here. He goes into centering and grounding, which obviously is important. The methodology and mythology behind that. Trance methodologies. Once again, an essential thing that most people don't even know about. People talk about being practitioners and then they don't understand trance states. So it means that they're not actually practitioners. I come across that a lot with people. Consecration of the Grail Temple. Procession of the 4 elements. Presentation of the 5 hellos and setting the 4 wards. Pyramidal pentagram ritual. Exteriorizing the pyramidian force. The octoadic godette and goddess. So I'm trying to read while through my mic. It's a little tough. The octoadic god and goddess. Invocative incantations. And then I'll finish it up with assumption of the Godhead, which is something else a lot of people don't know about, which is essential to any really high forms of magic. If you're not understanding the assumption of the Godhead techniques, if you're not understanding what that even means, you really need to do some research to go beyond just a mundane practitioner, go beyond a neophyte, go beyond a dabbler into actually being a practitioner. Because the thing you'll find is there's a lot of people that talk about being masters at things that they're really training wheels on. And then consecration of the hellos, the 5 magical tools. So you've heard earlier the 4 magical tools. Now it's talking about the 5, and there's reasons for that. So once again, this is Frater Barrabbas' Disciple's Guide to Ritual Magic, a beginner's introduction to the high art through Crossed Crow Books. Now available for $27 through Crossed Crow, weighing in at 300 pages. It is a girthy book. It is filled with knowledge. No filler, no fluff. Something you need in your library. Now, and actually, let me read a passage from the back. Actually, I think that's probably smart to do. In Disciples' Guide to Ritual Magic, Frater Barrabbas uses occult symbology of the past 2 centuries, mindful of all the latest developments in integral psychology and philosophy, to build a competent background in the art of ritual magic. This book can take a student far beyond the rudimentary magical practices of the dilettante and help create a spiritual and magical discipline that furthers spiritual transformation and conscious evolution. The Grimoire of 8 Rituals written within occult context, is the Grail mythos of the Western mystery tradition. Although everyone probably knows the stories about the quest of the Holy Grail, King Arthur, Merlin, and the Knights of the Round Table, there are powerful allegorical undercurrents and occult threads in these tales that, it's hard to see this, when realized, can become translated into life-changing experiences for the magician. And what's funny is the description for the book I have not read specifically off of this one, and it's exactly what I talked about, the levels of psychology, of philosophy, of spirit, and of materialization, and how they all come together and merge, how he works from an old perspective into a new. I just can't say enough about this guy. I've always been very impressed, and I'm glad I could play a part in any way that I did to, pushing him a little bit to continue on, to keep releasing books and to keep putting out new stuff, to redo some of his old ones. I can take no credit for that really, but he has given me some, and I'm certainly honored by that. Next is the Juggernaut. Ready? Oh my, look at this. I will show you guys first. It's still covered in bubble wrap. I just took it out. This absolute Goliath right here. Look at this. This is Mastering the Art of Ritual Magic by Frater Barrabbas. I had this. He originally released this as 3 separate books. Then later on down the road, he released it as one. I think it was like the omnibus version. Don't quote me on the name. I think that's what it was. I had it from years ago. I still have it in my library, and it is an amazing book. It takes a lot of the elements from Disciples' Guide that we just talked about, expands further on them, but this book still holds things that the other one doesn't have. So you really need to have them both side by side. Now, the other one weighed in at 300. This one weighs in at 403, but it is a much larger book. If you look at them side by side, if I can do it, you're talking it's an inch longer and an inch wider. So 100 more pages, but also a lot more in those 100 pages and even in the 3 that we had. Now, once again, it's hard for me to turn with the way my computer's set up, but we'll try to look through some of this. Let me just do it this way. As you can see, just solid material. It's not just big blank pages like a lot of these books. I get so many books now. Look at that, guys. I get so many books these days that it's like 400 pages, but by the time you minus out all the pages that are just full blank pages that separate chapters and the pictures and all this filler, that 400-page book comes down to be like 250 pages. And some of it's large typed and this and that. No, I mean, when you're looking at this is small typed, but still very visible. Just an endless fountain of knowledge. I found this original book. No, this is the new version. It doesn't even come out. This one isn't even released to the public until December. It's in pre-order stage as of right now. You can actually, I think the pre-orders start in 2 weeks, or maybe just started. We think where are we at right now? It's November. No, pre-orders have started. Excuse me, I'm having a time lapse here. Pre-orders have started. It'll come out in December. I was lucky enough to have this sent to me before anybody in the world has it, which is an amazing thing. It is beautiful. The cover to it, I love the artwork. I love the altar here with the book, the candles. I just think it's beautiful. The red on it really pops. And this book, when it originally was released, and I got the omnibus version, if that's what it's called, I found it vital to my practice. I mean, I can't express enough. It's probably one of the most important books in the occult that I have ever read. The amount of knowledge within it, the amount of things that it taught me, the ways that it changed my personal practice, my rituals, the way it connected dots within my theology and my paradigm and understanding was pivotal and changed me leaps and bounds. And it seems so long ago now. I read this because this was years ago. And to now have it again, bigger, redone. He said he added a bunch to it. He changed things in it. He made it bigger and he gave it a whole new look. So let's read a little bit from the back. I'll pick out certain key elements like I did on the old one, and we'll talk a little bit about it, and then we can have a discussion for you guys. Kelvin says, did he write a book on dark paganism, or was that someone else? He has a whole series. There's a lot of different books. He has conjuration for witches, talismanic magic for witches, elemental magic for witches. So he has a whole 4 witches series where he goes in how to do rituals with the elements, how to do, sympathetic talismanic magic. He has Liber Nephilim. He has the Abramelin the Mage ordeal. I think that just came out, or it's about to. He has another one coming out, and I can't remember what it is right now, but he has been just killing it over the years with books, and he has a lot of new stuff coming out. He's truly one of the guys that I think should be known above most everyone else in this scene right now. This says, Mastering the Art of Ritual Magic contains 3 groundbreaking volumes to develop the intermediate practitioner's personal system of magic. This book includes several extended forms of magic to form a unique approach for solitary and group practices of ritual magic. Amongst its 3 volumes, Mastering the Art of Ritual Magic encapsulates over 35 years of Frater Barrabbas' magical experience to form a new paradigm for the practice of magic. Volume 1, Foundations, refreshes the reader's basic practices and experiential knowledge. This is expanded upon in Volume 2, Grimoire, with 9 rituals that are easy to personalize and represent the kinds of magic essential to continuing studies. Volume 3, The Greater Key, demonstrates the practice's applicability to the greater art. Frater Barrabbas has created a classic compendium worthy of any aspiring ritual magician, and I absolutely stand behind that statement. It touches at the beginning at the basics, make sure you're refreshed where you need to be, picks up, kind of off this. This teaches you the basics. And then this book's going to jump in and say, okay, let's refresh you on the basics and expand a little bit. And then volume 2 inside here is going to say, okay, let's dive deeper. Volume 3 is going to say, okay, let's learn how to become a master. And he does just that. He teaches you how to become a true master of magic. Now let's look through and pick out just some of the headers. See if you guys have any questions after that. Adson, much love to you, brother. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, we're looking at Mastering the Art of Ritual Magic. Now, let's pick out some of the headers. So we'll start towards the beginning. Magical ritual structures, the performance of ritual, transformative initiation, 5 mysteries, the pentacles of the dish, temple, grove, mirror as spirit, initiation mysteries, mysteries of the deity, the trials and victories of initiation, using the 5 categories of ritual structures, 9 rituals of the grimoire and other preparations, blessings of the lustral waters, procession of the elements, crossing the threshold, important one, inner working and closing the gate, another important one, assumption of the Grail spirit, Preparations for Godhead Assumption, which we talked about a little bit in the last book. I said how important that truly is for someone to understand. Rituals of the Lunar Mysteries. Masculine initiation rituals. Feminine initiation rituals. Eastern Gate, coming forth by day. Consecration of the Hellos. Mystery rites of the higher self. Establish a regimen of working to fulfill goals. That's one of the most important. Establishing a regiment, a discipline. If you're not a disciplined practitioner, then you are not a practitioner. And I think that's, and we're going to talk about that. There's one of the other announcements I'm going to announce tonight here in a couple minutes. There's a lot of people who call themselves practitioners and don't have a practice. They dabble. They, like I said, they do 2 days a week, 5 days, or 2 days a month, 5 days a month, here and there. It's like a weekend warrior type deal. That's when they perform magic. Magic should be like brushing your teeth. Magic should be like taking a shit. It should be like going to bed at night. It should be something you do every single day in some capacity or another. Every day I'm waking up and I'm doing mantras, mudras, meditation, ritual, prayers. Every night I'm doing prayers and mantras. Every Friday and Monday I'm doing specific rituals. And then every Saturday I'm doing a different type of ritual. And there's a lot of things in between there with study and practice that I'm constantly doing. And I wish I could do more. It should be something that is done constantly. If you do magic 3 times a month and you tell me that you're an adept or a magus or something like that, then you're a fucking joke to me. You are not a magus, and you got to stop using those terms. For example, you want to talk about masters? Adson right now is in our chat. That is someone who has a discipline. That is someone who does this day in and day out every day. And it is just truly integrated into his life. And that is how it should be. And people don't seem to understand that these days. It's like you throw a robe on and you become something. No, you're already that something all day, every day. And you just enhance that. Now, jumping back in, mystery of the higher self, religious versus magical tradition. And I think that's important people to understand why religion's there, why theology's there, and why there is magic and mysticism. Though they can go hand in hand, they are separate from one another, but they can enhance one another. We get into the back, we got diagrams, and we have just tablets of them. Oh, shit, let me show you. I just lost it. Hold on one second. Lots of tables that you're going to see here where it breaks down correspondences that are very important, that'll help you reach those things. A lot of times I hear people say things like, I don't understand to do rituals on a specific day in a specific hour, how that works, why that is, or how I know what hour and what day is there. This book will show you. There's other books that do as well, but this, everything you ever need is in one book. And then lastly, we'll go through conclusion and the order of the ESSG, which was the coven that Frater Barrabbas ran for many years. It is still functional in some capacities or another. And that's it, folks. And I think, like I said, it is coming out in December. You can pre-order it now through Crossed Crow Books, Mastering the Art of Ritual Magic by Frater Barrabbas. 406 pages. Along with his other book that just recently released. They go kind of hand in hand. Disciple's Guide to Ritual Magic. This one's $27. This one I think is $40, I believe. And you can order them both from Crossed Crow, so hopefully you guys will check that out. Adson, that is, I just said it, but in case you missed it, Mastering the Art of Ritual Magic by Frater Barrabbas. A beautiful tome of just a ton of magic. Like I said, this is like, I think this book originally came out like 15 years ago. and it has now been redone and remastered and made into something even far beyond what it was before, which was impressive. And then the other one's The Disciple's Guide to Ritual Magic, which is a primer for a lot of beginners, but still has a lot of really, good fruit in there. Now, let me look at some of these comments. Adson, my Kimbanda work has been absolutely off the charts, brother, and I couldn't do it without you. I need to show you a picture. I don't know if I ever sent it to you. If I didn't, I apologize. I need to send you a picture of Mayoro and how amazing he looks in the temple. For those folks listening out there, Adson does amazing work in Brazil in the realm of Kimbanda, and he made me a beautiful Mayorel statue. If you're not followers of Kimbanda, you might not understand what that means, but it is a beautiful, beautiful Baphometic type of statue that is central to our practice of Kimbanda. And it's gorgeous, and it has a lot of fucking power that comes from it, brother. And I was mentioned earlier, every Monday and Friday, I'm sitting in front of him and giving praise and offering and sacrifice. So it's a beautiful thing, and I couldn't have done it without you, man. So thank you so much. We have Phoenix saying, I'm going to get both now, but I can't wait for the Abramelin one. I am so stoked for that. Yeah, his take on the Abramelin the Mage or Abramelin the Mage is very interesting. So I really look forward. My problem is I don't have enough time to read all the books I want to read, and that's always been my problem, but it's more so now. I have so much to do within my actual ritualistic practices that is just center core material for my practice. Then I have a couple other things that I'm involved in that have a heavy book basis as well. And then I have friends like Barrabbas who are sending me these beautiful, beautiful tomes to read. But right here, we're talking over 700 pages of material I need to read. And that's on the side of everything else I'm doing. So it becomes very difficult to do, but I will tackle it nonetheless. I do really want to look at the Abramelin or Abramelin. I always say both ways because I've always thought that it could be said either way. I think it'll be very, very interesting, his take on that. Just like his take on Liber Nephilim was very, very unique and interesting. See if there's any other questions. Oh, much love to you too, brother. Praise you. Leroy. Yeah, so that's what we got going on. Like I said, got some great rituals coming up. The ritual to Belial coming up on the 21st of December. The presents from pagans being delivered on the 21st. Cutoff date for deliveries is the 18th. Anybody who wants to donate to that toy drive, we're hoping to hook a lot of little kids up with some great presents for Christmas. For Yule, I say Christmas just because it's acknowledgeable by everybody. And we just got done doing the Devil's Night ritual. We're going to close that out on the 30th of this month with a very large ritual, the third of that series, to close out the 32 participants of that rite. So thank you to the 32 of you that partook in that. A lot of different things coming up. Like I said, in 2025, you're going to catch several sermons and lectures. We're going to do church style, where you can come out and sit for a sermon and get some good devil preaching. And, we look forward to that. Some other lectures, some other presentations and events, public and private. And then the big announcement that I would like to share with you is that starting in January of 2025, Caniculum Obscuritatis, a show that I only did one episode with, and I put it on pause, is kind of fully coming out in January. And it will be myself and Natasha, both of the Coterie of Samil, as co-hosts with one another, presenting a show where each episode we dive into specifically a topic of magic and ritual magic and divination and everything you can imagine under the umbrella of esoteric and occult. We'll be doing centralized topics. So this episode would be about such. And we'll talk in depth from both of our perspectives, and as a cult perspective, we'll answer your guys' questions. And hopefully over time through all of the episodes, we'll build a very nice structure that as you guys are watching, following, and listening, you can learn a lot from. You can give your input and intake on things, and we'll read those off as well. And it'll just be a great learning experience for everyone, for us, for you guys. That's what it's all about. We're all here to better ourselves through esoteric means, to work with spirits, to grow with our spirits, and to live the best lives we can. And that's what we hope to do. And if we can give any of what we've learned and practiced back to the people, that's what we hope to do. And those that are worthy will pick those fruits and use them. Those that want to squander it, that's on them. They can let them rot, but we will give the fruit nonetheless. Other than that, if anybody has any other questions, let me know. Yes, brother, save black magic. That's what it's all about. It's always been for me, man. Black magic, devil worship, all of that has been my life since a young child. I don't understand how I could be anything else. Most of the world will never understand us, but it's not for most of the world to understand. We are not the sheep in the fields. We are the wolves that descend upon the fields. And so many people scoff at that and spit at that. They love to be sheep. They love to stand and baa with all the other sheep, and I don't understand the appeal to that. I take pride in being the fucking wolf, bearing my fangs. But that doesn't mean that we're just ruthless animals. It means we're tactical. We're clever. We know how to move the sheep, to move the pieces, the chess masters of the world. We move accordingly so that we bring to fruition thou which we desire, live deliciously. And most of the time we can do so without bearing our fangs, because once you become a chess master, you see things 10 moves ahead, so you know how to counteract and work around obstacles. But don't be mistaken, folks. If we must bear our fangs, we will tear deep and ruthlessly into anyone that stands in our way. With no shame, with no remorse, because there's been ample warning. If you fuck with a wolf, expect to be bitten. Kelvin says, wolves always rock. I think it's an important thing. Like I said, many people stand proudly and march to a tune, how proud they are to be sheep. And I guess, man, I don't know. It's always been kind of strange to me, but to each their own, right? I am a proud wolf. Or a bat. I like to say I'm a proud bat. Creature of the night flying. Salve, esce morcego. I can't see what it is, but I'll throw it up. There is a YouTube link. It won't let me click on it right now because it'll interrupt the show, but I will definitely check it out, brother. Whatever that is, folks, check it out because I'm sure it is very important. And if you haven't checked out Adson, folks, I suggest you doing so. I suggest you check out his cult. I suggest you check out the things that they're doing over there in Brazil in the umbrella of Kimbanda, because it's beautiful. It's powerful. I have much, much love and respect for Adson. I have much, much love and respect for Danilo. I think they're two very special people. Kelvin says, I am more of a dragon. Dragons have their place too, brother. Dragons are very important. In my Nakash practice, which is my practice that worships Samaya Lilith and Nakash Alakar, the god of the other side, the serpentine god. We are heavily derivative off of dragons and the dragon bloodline, the serpent bloodline, because that is where we are. There you have the Clayborn and you have some people call them the Fireborn. I call them the Serpentborn, but you have the Clayborn and you have the Serpentborn. You have the line of Adam as the Clayborn, the people of mud, Adamu. Adam came from the word Adamu, mud. mudmen. They're just fucking golems. They're just walking golems with the Yahweh print on their forehead, and that's why they don't have a whole lot of intelligence going on. And then you have the bloodline of Cain. You have the serpent-born. There's a lot to be said about that. Why didn't Yahweh kill Cain whenever he killed his brother? Because he couldn't. Yahweh did not have the authority to strike down the son of Samael, because Samael is equal to Yahweh. He doesn't have the power to strike down one of his brother's children. Big hug to you, my friend. Thank you so much. May the ancestors hear your prayers. Save the Black Dragon. Absolutely. Absolutely. And he goes by many names, but for those out there that recognize the Black Dragon, it's powerful work. It's not work for everybody. It's work for the select few. Azarat. Tananasam. Tanavir. Kelvin says, I like serpents and dragons. I worship serpents and dragons, brother. Yeah, you should see my temple over here. It's beyond, where the hell's my hand at? So you have this back here partitioned off. You have a Cain altar right here. So I do a lot of divination with the dead right here. There's a whole practice to Cain, but beyond there, I have an entire serpentine area of my temple, which is nothing but worshiping of the serpent. That's when I mention prayers, I do prayers morning, afternoon, and evening, and it's all to the serpent. It depends, Adson, which category we're talking about. If we are talking about a book on anti-cosmic theory and thought on worshiping the serpent, I would suggest Lyrics of Lilith, Songs of Samael. The Serpent Sador of the Nakash El Akher. It's like the longest book title in the world. It is literally Lyrics of Lilith. I can't talk right now. Lyrics of Lilith, Songs of Samael, the Serpent Sador of the Nakash El Akher. That's the name of the book. It's a tongue twister. It is a phenomenal book. It gives you prayers. It gives you anti-cosmic thought. It goes into depth on explaining Ein Sof are in a different perspective than a lot of the Kabbalists would explain it. It explains how this world is abomination. Now, it doesn't mean we have to hate it, but it does explain how this is a sin to be trapped in flesh because we are gods and endless. And it's just a beautiful book. I think it is something everyone that is interested in that type of material should read. But once again, it's not something everyone should read. Most people are not going to understand it. It is very, very analytical, Kabbalistic style workings. As someone who's followed Kabbalism and always followed the Sitra Achrayan and Kabbalistic sides of things, it's right up my alley. But a lot of regular people might read it and say, what the fuck is this? Now, you Adson obviously are an advanced practitioner, so I think you would take a lot out of it. But I think for anybody else listening out there that says, oh, I might get that, brace yourself because you might not like it. It's heavy. It is a heavy read. Matthew Whiteman. And then obviously another great one, which is hard as shit to get your hands on and it's expensive as hell these days, is going to be the Book of the Sitra Achra by NAA 218, which is, the 2182 current. Started it all from, the misanthropic Luciferian order, which started the whole renaissance of Klopothic side of stuff. And it led into the Liber Felsifer books and a lot of the other books out there that has that same current, that Cainitic gnosis, that necrosophic gnosis, but some really powerful works. If anybody else has any questions or comments, feel free to drop them. I'll stick around for a few more minutes, and then I guess I'll tune out. Make sure you check out Frater Barrabbas' 2 books, one already released, The Disciple's Guide to Ritual Magic. You can pick that up now for $26. And the Art of, I can't ever say it right, Mastering the Art of Ritual Magic, tongue twister, is going to be, like I said, $45, something like that. And they're both on Crosscrow Books, and that comes out in December. So make sure you check that out. I don't want to miss to say that one more time. Kelvin, as always, brother, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank everyone else out there for tuning in. Feel free to click the like, share, follow, and subscribe buttons and get it out there. He deserves, I don't care about my show getting out there. I don't care about me getting out there or getting any buzz, but these authors and some of these people out there deserve that buzz. I don't. Don't fucking give me praise. Give them praise. And make sure you check out Frater Barrabbas. Like I said, check out my boy Adson who popped in tonight. That's an honor to have him listening in. Yeah, Nocturne, I have heard of Reverend Kane. I won't talk too much on that, but I have heard of Reverend Kane. I've actually owned some of his books in the past. I don't any longer, but I have. Well, that's not true. I do have a couple books in the library back there, but some of his original works I gave to a friend. Good night, Tara. Thank you so much for checking in. Excuse me. I'm trying to think of the name of his book, Nocturne. His one book I had. It was Infernal Diabolus Inferni or something like. It was a pretty good book. It was a book of correspondences that went through the 72 Goetian devils, and it gave what time of day to conjure them, what incenses to use, what stones to use, different serpent tongue incantations on how to call them. It was a great book for what it was. Some of the things around it, though, I laughed at. Like, I know people fluff themselves up to get higher sales, and I'm not bashing Reverend Kane on this. He puts out good material. He's very heavily respected. But when he put that he's sold hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of copies of his book, come the fuck on, bro. Who in the occult scene ever in history has sold hundreds and hundreds of thousands of copies of their book? Crawley hasn't sold hundreds and hundreds of thousands of copies. How the fuck does Reverend Kane? So I'm once again, this is not to bash him. And if someone, wants to run to him and tell him that, feel free. I don't give a shit. But, there's a point where you fluff yourself and there's a point where you go too far and it sounds silly. So him saying like, I've sold hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of books. No, you haven't. But if that makes you get more sales, then great. The other thing is he did literally at one point in time put on his site, I am the official voice of theistic Satanism. And that's a crazy fucking statement for anybody to literally puff their chest out enough to say, I am the voice of theistic Satanism. Like, no, bro, that kind of makes you douchey in a way. But once again, you have great material. You're respected. Eventually, he took that down. But for a while, he was going over a self-proclaimed moniker of the leader of the voices of Satan. And it's like, I'm not about that. I'm not about that fucking ego. Like, let's stroke ourselves, self-masturbatory inflation. That's not my thing. So, yeah, I don't know. To each their own, I suppose. Yes, Adson, I will. I'll get you a picture over right away. It's almost done. I have 4 statues from Brazil coming from another builder that I was working with specifically on my Issues and Pompiers. That my altar already is beautiful, and I'll send you the picture. But they should be coming as well. That'll finish it out. Your statue takes center stage, and then those 4 statues will go right along with it. And it's from another builder you would be familiar with, from another subfamily of Danilos that you'd be familiar with as well. So, it's great to have your guys' energy here, and I'm really looking forward to that once those are completed and in. Yeah, like I said, Nocturne, no hate. I don't talk to the guy. I've never spoken to him. I wish him nothing but the best. But like I said, I don't like whenever you have to lie about things. Don't lie about your numbers. Don't make claims that you're the god of Satanism. That's a fucking weird claim. You're just a man. You're fallible like everybody else. So, to each their own. I think the big problem is, and I'm going to talk more about this on Natasha and I's show, Caniculus Obscuritatum, um, is that when we start interacting with spirits to a higher degree, there's a high probability that it'll drive you insane. And it'll either lead to power or it'll lead to destruction. And destruction takes many forms, as does power. But destruction's tricky because we think of destruction as, oh, the person's going to get ill or die or go insane or kill people. And that's all part of destruction. But what also is part of destruction is delusion. And a lot of people will start to interact with high levels of power. And the next thing you know, start making really, really crazy claims like, they're the Messiah. And that's fucking weird. And that means that you're in the grips of psychosis, but you don't see it because when you're in it, you don't see it. So to the rest of the world, you're like, why don't they see me as this? Or they're all blind and fools that they don't see this. No, it's you're crazy, bro. And you just don't know you're crazy. Most crazy people don't know they're crazy. So that happens a lot. And like I said, that's not aimed at anybody specific. And that's not saying Reverend Cain's crazy by any means. It's just saying that a lot of times when we start messing with high yields of power, we sometimes go a little batty and start making weird ass claims. Yes, Natasha. Natasha is with us this evening. She just popped in. I did. I hope I didn't let the cat out of the bag too much. Meow. I did announce that coming January, we will be doing a show together, Caniculum Obscuritatis, and we'll be talking episode by episode about specific sections of ritual magic and of occultism to give a plethora of information that the fans and listeners can learn from, that we can learn from them as they give their input and ask questions. They make us think. And it's just a really healthy way of engaging with everyone back and forth and growing together in the thing that we all love, which is esotericism. And yes, discernment. Discernment is key. I also have a problem with someone calling themselves the official voice of theistic Satanism. And voice you may be, although we don't know your voice, and you don't show your face. So when we don't know what you sound like, we never seen your face before, but we've seen your pen game with your writing, and you make a claim that you're the leader of all theistic Satanism. It's strange because it's like you don't show us what you look like, you don't show us what you sound like. You're hiding all that, and that's I don't know. It's just fucking weird to me. I'm nobody, but here's my face and voice, folks. You've heard thousands of hours of it. I ain't got shit to hide from anybody. Oh, that's right. You got the shop cats now. Yeah, I think we'll have some good subject matter as well. So make sure you guys check that out in January. We'll have a few more episodes of Last Call in December, and not next week because of Thanksgiving, but in December we will. I'm thinking about bringing some of my older shows back as well, but I don't think I'm going to. I thought about doing Uncovering the Underground, but that causes me to have to dive deep into the music scene again, and I'm not involved anymore. So as great as it would be to help a lot of artists out, I don't think I'm going to do that. But you will see a return of me and Dan at some point for Pair of Normal Guys podcast. There is a possible return for Knights of the Nephilim, for interviewing occultists. Last Call is just always going to be here because it's just fun and I like talking to you guys. And then Natasha and I's show will be out in January, which I think will be very, very beneficial and good. So other than that, guys, I want to thank each and every one of you for your participation tonight, and for the folks tuning in after the fact, which isn't live. Just share it around. Make sure you check out the 2 books, Mastering the Art of Ritual Magic by Frater Barrabbas, and Disciples Guide to Ritual Magic by Frater Barrabbas. The unboxing tonight was great. Thank you, Barrabbas, for your gift. Much love to you, brother. And you can check those books out on Crossed Crow Books. Other than that, everyone have a wonderful, happy, healthy, and safe Thanksgiving. Enjoy it with friends and family. Have great conversation and cherish one another. Life is short. Enjoy it while you're here. This is Frater Crow signing out from the Coterie of Samil and Celestial Oddities Radio. Happy holidays.